Baskin Robbins is a chain of ice cream and cake specialty shops that opened in 1945. Thank you for your suggestion.
There's nothing better than a free sample. Except a bigger free sample. Come into participating stores this Wednesday night, May 2nd, for a free scoop of ice cream. How does that sound? Baskin Robbins.
Burton Baskin was born in Chicago, Illinois in 1913. His future brother-in-law, Irv Robbins, was born in Tacoma, Washington 4 years later in 1917. The success story started during the Depression years. As a teenager in the 1930s, Robbins managed a small ice cream parlor in his father's dairy store in Tacoma. In November of 1934, Aaron Robbins, Irv Robbins' father, bought and converted a storefront dairy on the back alley into the Olympic Dairy Store and Ice Cream Parlor, just across from 11th from the Crystal Market. Irv hated the drudgery of the vanilla chocolate strawberry routine day after day, and he started staying up late at night concocting his own combinations by adding fresh fruit and candies to standard flavors. He then started giving exotic names to his concoctions. He also noticed that people entering the shop were coming not only for the ice cream, but also to take a break from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. That perception stayed with him and helped him formulate the type of ambiance he wanted to create for his own ice cream business in the future. Meanwhile, he tried some of his newly created flavors in local grocery stores, hoping to eventually sell them in bulk. However, other vendors regularly removed his signs, making his initial venture only moderately successful. Then, World War II broke out and postponed his dream. On the other side of the world, Baskin had learned the art of making ice cream while serving as a PX operator with the U.S. Navy in the South Pacific. At that time, Baskin had obtained a freezer from an aircraft carrier supply officer and began concocting his own creamy treats for his fellow servicemen, using local tropical fruits found on the island. During World War II, he met and married Shirley Robbins, who happened to be Irv Robbins' sister. They settled in Pasadena, California, where Baskin opened his own ice cream shop called Burton's, and was enjoying his own entrepreneurial success. When Robbins was discharged from the U.S. Army in 1945, he needed to consider whether an ice cream venture could support a wife and child. He had decided during his own military tour that offering his product through grocery retail stores was not really what he had envisioned in the long run. He remembered that people had come into his father's shop wanting more than just to purchase a product. Rather, the ice cream shop itself appeared to be a treat for them, making them forget their daily lives. So, he decided to open his own special parlor. During a vacation trip to Los Angeles, he spotted a store for rent in the suburb of Glendale. The setting appeared ideal for an ice cream shop. Robbins took $3,000 from his savings and $3,000 from his insurance policy to come up with the necessary $6,000 investment. He named his new parlor Snowbird and opened for business on December 7, 1945. Sporting a crisp white uniform shirt and a colorful bow tie, he greeted excited customers and tempted them with new dessert creations. Inside his shop, they could forget about the world outside and simply enjoy the moment's pleasure of an exotic ice cream flavor, often with a humorous name. When the war ended, Robbins was about to open his fourth store. He was having so much fun and doing so well that he convinced Baskin, now his brother-in-law, to join him in a partnership. They agreed in theory, but continued running their respective shops separately, for the first year on the advice of Robbins' father, who counseled them not to compromise their individual ideas out of respect for each other or in an effort to get along. Ultimately, the two men agreed to combine their talents and successes, and by 1948, the 5 Snowbird and 3 Burton shops had been combined into a single enterprise, and they devised their 31st flavor, chocolate mint. They flipped a coin to see whose name would get top billing. Baskin won. Baskin Robbins ice cream was born in 1946, and in the next 2 years, the two entrepreneurs opened 5 additional ice cream stores in order to keep up with the demand. They decided to license out the operations of future Baskin Robbins stores, thereby creating the concept of franchising in the ice cream industry. Initially, the men kept low expectations of themselves. After all, they were selling ice cream cones, not automobiles. Both men realized all too well that the hard work and personal commitment needed to be successful. They also knew that the proper care needed to run a store required a manager who had vested interest in the operation. Moreover, managing their 6 existing stores proved to be exhausting. It also removed them from their first love, which was creating new and fun ice cream flavors and catchy names for them. Clearly, the signature selling point at Baskin Robbins was the tempting array of ever-changing flavors of ice cream to choose from. The two entrepreneurs chose the number to capitalize on the idea that customers could get a new flavor for every day of the month. Many of those flavors became classics, including pralines and cream, and Jamocha almond fudge, and the ever-popular Rocky Road with its chunks of nuts, marshmallow, and chocolate. There were a few failures along the way as well. For example, Goody Goody Gumdrop was recalled to avoid the potential of customers chipping their teeth on frozen gumdrops. This started a new and important selling trend for the company, acknowledging special events, times, or persons with an ice cream flavor, a tradition that continues to this day. The first Baskin Robbins ice cream store outside of California opened in Phoenix, Arizona in 1959. This was the beginning of what was to become a rapid growth period for the next 2 decades. Unfortunately, however, Burt Baskins died unexpectedly 8 years later at the age of 54. Meanwhile, John Robbins, Irv's only son and heir apparent, became a health food advocate and rejected both his father's product and his inheritance of the business. Father and son, Robin, sank into an icy relationship that would last for years, and Baskin Robbins was sold for an estimated $12 million to United Fruit Company. At the time of the purchase in 1968, Baskin Robbins controlled 476 outlets in 31 states and had 57 more stores under construction. In 1973, Baskin Robbins was purchased by the London-based J. Lyons & Company, Limited. During the 1970s, Baskin Robbins experienced rapid domestic franchise growth, but in 1974, it began international expansion with the opening of its first store in Brussels, Belgium. In 1976, Baskin Robbins specialty stores around the country celebrated the chain's 31st birthday with special events and treats for their customers. 2 years later, Irv Robbins retired as chairman, and another London entity, Allied Brewery, bought the company from J. Lyons. Under its new owner, Baskin Robbins Incorporated was formed in 1986 and then created 2 new subsidiaries, Baskin Robbins USA Company and Baskin Robbins International. The company had not done well in the 1980s as it had previously. Baskin Robbins parlors became simply dated rather than retro, while new upstarts like Ben & Jerry's and Haagen-Dazs began to tug at customers with a new super fat creamy ice cream. In 1989, it became the first ice cream specialty store to introduce a no-sugar added frozen dairy product. This was followed in 1991 with the introduction of the first fat-free frozen dairy dessert. Baskin Robbins began to bounce back in the 1990s, introducing an all-natural line of low-fat and non-fat frozen yogurts, In 1993, Baskin Robbins was named America's favorite sweets chain for the 10th time in Restaurants and Institutions magazine's prestigious national survey. In 1994, Baskin Robbins acquired sister companies Dunkin' Donuts and Togo's. In 1997, the company added its ice cream smoothie, and in the year 2000, introduced the freeze frame cake program, which a favorite color or black and white photograph could be scanned and printed with edible ink and paper on the top of an ice cream cake. In late 2000, the company launched a multi-million-dollar renovation project to give its parlors a new look. U.S. franchises dropped approximately 500 locations since 1997. Notwithstanding, U.S. stores served approximately 150 million ice cream cones each year. And that's not counting sundaes, shakes, smoothies, or any other items. The company also boasts an archival list of 1,000 different ice cream flavors, but the top-selling flavors continue to be the old standbys, such as vanilla, chocolate, mint chocolate chip, and pralines and cream. In 2006, the company's BR logo was updated such that it doubles as the number 31 to represent the 31 flavors, with the 31 formed by the parts of the letter BR, which are rendered in pink in contrast to the rest of the logo, which is rendered in blue. In 2008, the co-founder, Irv Robbins, passed away. In August of 2012, Dunkin' Brands became completely independent of the private equity firms. Baskin Robbins struggled in the early years of the 2000s to retain business, but opened 36 new shops between 2013 and 2015. Many new Baskin Robbins shops are co-branded with Dunkin' Donuts, including California's first co-branded location of the two in San Diego, which opened in March of 2014. In 2014, Baskin Robbins also began selling its ice cream for the first time in supermarkets across the U.S. In 2015, Paul Rudd's character, Scott Lang, briefly appeared as the Baskin Robbins employee in the movie Ant-Man. In July of 2017, Baskin Robbins started adding their locations to delivery service platform DoorDash to deliver ice cream in 22 cities across the U.S. On April 11, 2022, Baskin Robbins debuted an updated logo alongside the new tagline, "Seize the Yay." Today, there are 2,272 Baskin Robbins stores in the U.S. California has the most locations with 410 stores. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks.